Probably not.
Oh, nope.
I can't, sorry.
Alrighty, let's go. To get all of these schools together and get all these teams in the same place to compete together, and it's really nice to see.
Yeah.
It just warms your heart a
It's
little bit
wholesome.
when you see it. It's super wholesome, yeah.
Yeah, it's a super nice thing, and obviously we saw yesterday, I talked about this could be the tournament, the time where a lot of teams, a lot of schools, maybe you're going to start investing a lot more into their programs. We saw a ton of schools, either like the dark horse or maybe some potential upsets. We saw University of Ottawa, a school that we actually had a couple good players, found out from Spoods later on, but it's a team that we hadn't really heard too much about, took us to 5 games, almost reverse swept us, so we came in as the undisputed 1 seed, so clearly anything goes in this tournament. It's kind of like a March Madness bracket, almost in a way.
Yeah.
You have the group stage, and then you have the playoffs and championship Sunday, but anything can happen in between, and that's the beauty of it. Today, like I said, though, Overwatch 2, not really going to be any massive changes to Overwatch recently. There was a patch recently that kind of nerfed Sombra a little bit, nerfed a little bit of Diva, but not really going to see either of those characters most likely anyways. Hopefully, we see something besides the standard same 5. Otherwise, I will be very, very sad.
Yeah, I mean, we got an Overwatch 2 broadcast last week as well, and it was a lot of the same over and over again. You know, you saw the Sojourn coming through. You saw Kiriko Lucio just being able to speed everyone up, do everything that they want in that back line, and then, of course, Winston bopping heads on the front line. You know, there you go, jumping into that back. But nonetheless, I want to see some change up, and I think that realistically, when we look at the two teams, it's very much favored towards the Saints here. The Brock's team, a little bit of a underdog, so to speak, and of course, Simon Fraser University waiting for them actually in the next round as well. Also a little bit of an underdog in that matchup specifically, but realistically, if we can see a little bit of change up, maybe there's some people who've got, you know, their one tricks, they're really confident on a hero or another. It might be interesting to see that come through, but really going to be down to what the teams have in store for us today.
Yeah, I know the boys said they are feeling definitely confident. I asked them, I begged them to play a couple different heroes. They said if the time arises, they will definitely try to bust out new strategy. But if you got to win the game, you're going to go with the consistent 5 that's going to get you there. But with that being said, though, I think we covered enough Overwatch 2, everything for the time being. We will throw it to a very, very quick break. Overwatch 2, just after the break, Esports Canadian Nationals continue. And welcome back in, everybody. Day 2 of the Canadian Esports Nationals kicking off once again. St. Clair College taking on Brock University, going over to Lijiang Tower first. And the boys have already, proven true what I asked them. We're going to see Crime playing on the May. May was out of the game for almost a month. For those who are not aware, you could walk through and or over that ice wall. So definitely a game-breaking bug, but she is now back in the game. We're not going to see a Sojourn. It is a Christmas miracle, although I would not be surprised if St. Clair does get taken out. Oh, Crime, don't do it to me. He hovered May. That had to be deliberate. He hovers May the entire time and then finally just goes back and switches there.
And realistically, if we are going to see some of those switch-ups, I think it's going to be over time as things go on. But nonetheless, I think that for the most part, we're going to see the standard starts for both of these teams, as you can see, sort of mirroring those hyper-meta comps that actually Fundy and I were talking about at that point. But nonetheless, you can see already some kills coming through for the side of St. Clair. They're pushing back Brock already way back into their spawn, and oh my goodness. We expected it to be a little bit of an underdog story for Brock, but already getting down to the nitty-gritty of this, how much action there's already been. St. Clair really pushing it forward.
Yeah, this is exactly what we've seen from them before. They like to get into that spawn, like to put on that pressure and try to find these picks. We're going to see Emran getting taken out by that Winston. Their whole WM holding that W key on the Monk, trying to find those kills. Squeak going to get caught up in that Sojourn disruption. Not going to be too big of a deal, though. Red X bopping around here, trying to find those boops into the lake below, trying to find those kills. He is actually going to find one over onto that Kiriko. The Saints starting off excellently on this first point, getting that early percentage. Not holding the spawn maybe quite as early as they'd like to, but nonetheless, they are finding these picks. They are staying alive. Squeak doing such a good job just displacing all of these members, working magic off that Winston, and the Saints are going to clear out Brock on this point and get set up in the spawn to trap him.
Yeah, you can already see pushing forward extremely aggressively here. Emran just hiding behind that wall, as is expected from the Reaper in a lot of sense. You just pop out behind him. Hey, there's a couple shots there back at that one. Exactly. That's the play. And you can see already playing so aggressively, just able to cut through that Winston with ease. Now, with that Death Blossom in that backline, you've got to be so cautious. There it goes. 1, 2. I believe that's going to be a third one picked up as well. That's another TK basically coming through for this side of St. Clair. And we talked about the spawn being a little bit of a trap from time to time. Seems like that's already going to be the case here, about a minute into this map.
Yeah, and Crime hasn't even had to pop that overclock yet. The Saints trying to not have to stack up those ultis. They did pop that Kitsune Rush, and they popped that Death Blossom. There's going to be the overclock. Crime going to be trying to find these picks on the back line, trying to get that railgun popping off. They're getting a couple left-click shots in there. The beat did get popped by Brock University, though, to try to at least get out of this spawn. Squeak over here on the Primal, trying to take out the Sojourn. He's going to get it done. Primal going to be popped on that other side. Crime going to end up finding that headshot. The Saints are going marching right into this Brock spawn. Emran going to... Oh, he actually does hit the TP to get up back in time. Going to clutch off. Is going to end up off the map once again. That Primal Rage going to pick up a pair. Lucio going to find that kill onto Arjunk as well. Brock University doing a really good job trying to fight back here, but all the matter, they are still trying to get back on site. Squeak going to land that beautiful right-click shot. Going to be able to jump out of dodge there. Now the Saints are going to be up to 99%. It's going to be all on Brock to keep touching this point and try to keep this round alive. The Saints are doing a lot of work on this objective.
Yeah, Redx doing a great job of just staying on that point for so long and finally able to push off all those Brock members, starting to get more of those members down. It is only down to hold WM1 there, trying to hold the line, but the team kill going to come through once again, and that should be map 1 going away.
Round one.
Round 1.
Yeah.
Round 1 on map 1. There we go.
Exactly. 1-on-1, one exactly, though. The Saints, they're going to find that one with pretty easily fashion. Brock, they had a couple good contests there for a time, but the ultimates ultimately ended up being in the Saints' favor. We saw a great Primal Rage, that backline Death Blossom picking up 3. I wonder if we're going to see any character changes. That's me coping very, very loudly, but I suspect we are going to end up seeing the same 5. Maybe Crime does bust out the Mei on this point. Ooh. She has a lot of utility in that down area. We are going to see the Orisa maybe get picked up by Squeak. Honestly, though, I'm not convinced. Actually, for a point like this, you're not really going to want to run the Winston. You want a more slightly immobile tank that could eat a lot of shots, get that damage out there, and Orisa's ultimate, that Terra Surge, going to be very, very good for those small hallways as well. So, nice little shake-up in the comps. Not going to be as much as I was hoping for, but it will be enough nonetheless. Emran going to switch over to that Junkrat as well. Junkrat, fantastic on this point.
Oh yeah, you're just able to spam down so many bank shots as well through all of these tight corridors. Able to get so much damage out as well. And actually, Hold W going to go for the Reinhardt as well, just trying to hold as much space as possible, as you're mentioning. Same as the Orisa in that sense. Just put up that shield, you're really just trying to buy as much time as possible. But realistically, at this point, you can already see that Saints doing so much damage in that front line. Doesn't really matter what sort of tank they've got, because it's already gone off the map here. And the Argent just dropping down a lot of damage themselves here. I believe that's the Baptiste coming through as well.
Yeah, Arjunk likes to be that battle Baptiste. He is there to heal those teammates, but that man is no stranger to that burst rifle. We've seen plenty of clips where he gets 2-3 pieces. If he doesn't want Sojourn getting all the love necessarily, Emran gonna keep this mind on that back line. Anyone jumps up there unsuspectingly, they're gonna be in a world of hurt, but he's gonna try to line up on that side point. The Saints trying to force the spawn here. Emran gonna be a little bit too aggressive there. Gonna get booped off the map there by Doomboo. Saints trying to hold the line here. Squeak gonna get saved up there. A lot of HP gonna go through his way. Gonna be a little Orisa v Orisa duel. The deflect gonna come through for the side of Brock, trying to get them some space, get them on this point. They do not want St. Clair taking as much percentage as they did last time, although Crime and Squeak have other ideas so far, picking up a pair for him.
Yeah, a little bit of a boot battle on the side there, but Squeak able to find a couple more kills in that front line. The Orisa just really good at doing a decent amount of damage as well. You know, one of those sort of DPS tanks at that. You know, always fun to pull it out. I love her.
It's like it's my favorite tank.
Basically the only character that I've played in Overwatch 2, if I'm being real, ever since the rework. And look at where Crime is set up. This is just a little bit nasty on this backside there. Taking a lot of damage still, but is able to move so cleanly away with that Sojourn. All the shots just landing down time and time again. And then eventually, you take a little bit too much damage, you're able to just heal back up from your healers. But look at the window coming through. So much damage, just trapping the side of Brock in their own ship there. Very difficult to deal with anything. That is a Bastion now coming through from Emran.
Oh, and Squeak gonna hide under that corner, try to get that Terra Surge ready. Look at Arjunk just feeding the Bastion as much as possible. Keep the artillery unit alive. Bastion gonna be a very good shredder of any type of shield. Brock, they're gonna switch over to the Hanzo, maybe try to find the Dragon ultimate to get Saints out of this spawn, but they have a lot of work to do. Crime is gonna end up off the map there, but the Saints do get a couple picks in tow. Kiriko gonna pick up that kill onto Emran. Arjunk once again on this burst rifle. An absolute menace. Playing that DPS support essentially, but still doing a great job on this backline to keep the rest of the Saints nice and healthy. This is such a tricky spawn to get out of as well. You can clearly see that Brock is definitely having a hard time. B-Drop gonna come through. Squeak trying to get ready for the Terra Surge. Gonna get pooped off the map, but he is going to pull 2 or at least get 1 off the map there as well. Gonna get some value, but the Saints are looking nice and strong.
Yeah, all the ultimates now forced to come out from Brock. They've got to try and touch this point. They're actually going to be able to claim the point for themselves for just a little bit here. And finally, the Saints are pushed out a little bit there. Don't think there's going to be too much spawn trapping, as it feels like the health bar is just a little bit too lacking on the side of Brock right now. And already, remember, falling, I believe that's Shadow on that Junkrat going down, and Crime on this
balanced character.
Oh my goodness. Look at that though. Lots of ultimates coming through as well. The Terra Blast going to be able to pick up another one, and Brock holding their own decently well as they finally are able to get out of their spawn. They're finally able to get those ultimates charged up, and now they're getting themselves back onto this point.
I'm sorry, Squeak switched to Doomfist low-key, didn't even notice it, but still putting in lots of work, picking up 2 kills there for St. Clair. Doomfist, for those who do not know, not necessarily in the strongest of positions, but can still be wielded with much effectiveness. And the Torbjorn gonna get popped out. Torbjorn very, very good for this map though. Just lay down that lava, the overflow. Lots of picks back and forth though. Red X gonna find a couple. Brock still trying to hang in this one. Arjunk gonna pop that window, trying to get rid of this Kiriko here. Gonna be another backline Doom. Hold W also gonna switch onto that Doom. Crime though, picking up a couple with the Sojourn. Looking to find the third. Doom on 1 HP. Crime trying to find the finish. It's gonna be Arjunk now all on this Hanzo to try to touch this point. Saints are gonna get the capture. They're gonna have a couple more seconds to kill here, and in all likelihood, they will end up taking map 1 Li Jiang. A decent back and forth there the second round from Brock, but ultimately the Saints just far too much firepower.
Yeah, a little bit too much. They had a little bit more fun with the heroes selected at the end there. We saw the Torbjorn come out. We saw the Orisa come through for a little bit. Doomfist was, yeah, that's definitely one that it is a hero in Overwatch, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that is all we'll say about it.
Listen, I'm really happy. They made my dreams come true. They played different heroes. That's all I wanted to see. And obviously some of the objectives, like different comps are going to call for different sites and everything. So not the craziest thing for us to see a switch, but nonetheless, I definitely do love to see it. Really good start from them. We saw a pretty good start from Rocket League yesterday too. Still have another map to try to get through because we are playing in best of fives today. So they're going to have a couple more maps to try to win out here. But nonetheless, a great start overall.
And really depends on about what the map picks are at the end of the day, because if we look at the history of what the Saints like to pick, they've got, Kings Row, they've got, I believe they like Circuit Royale as well. That's one of the ones that they're pretty fond of.
If they get to push, though.
If they get to push, or if they get to one of the payload maps at that.
Yeah.
Curious to see what Brock is going to opt for here, because sometimes, the maps that you like are also maps that your enemy team really likes in that regard. Just waiting on that map pick for the time being. But for now, just sort of, we'll find out what they want to pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Curious.
Yeah, we'll throw it to a very, very quick break, though. Just hopefully a 1 minute break. Let the map get reset. Catch you guys back. Saints currently leading 1-0.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Canadian Esports Nationals here. On to map 2, going back to Kings Row here. One that the Saints are pretty fond of at that, if we're being real. Of course, this is Brock's map pick. Never mess that one up. And already we see a couple of changes coming through. For now, always the sort of hero hovers that I'm always curious about. I want to see if they actually get locked in at that. But you can see there's a Tracer coming through for the side of St. Clair. So
Listen,
might be a little bit of a switch up.
They said they were definitely going to try to play some different heroes. Tracer definitely can still have value, especially if you're good at just getting in and out, getting that damage, and getting everything going. We're going to see that D.Va coming through. Got a little bit of a nerf, but not going to be anything that's going to take her out of a strong position. We're going to see Sigma on the other side there. Insta-shield coming out there. The Saints already trying to cook in the spawn. Emran going to be a little bit damaged up there. Going to find this kill, though. Kiriko actually going to find first blood under Crime there. And then the Saints are going to get a couple picks there on the side of them. Brock trying to hang in here, though. A lot better start than last time, even though it's only been a few seconds.
Yeah, definitely. Just being able to get out of the spawn to begin with is really important on some of these hybrid maps. You want to try and get to that point as quickly as possible, and already demacking the D.Va there going to be a good sign. Unfortunately, the D.Va's sort of behind enemy lines, but already getting a little bit of progress here onto this point. Going to be able to get a tick at that. Brock doing what they can for the time being to try and push this advantage, try and get to that point, at least get to the second half of this hybrid map.
Yeah, the second half being the difficult part where you have to end up pushing that payload. Although Brock, they're finding a lot of unanswered picks here, back to back to back. Crime is going to find that kill onto the Hanzo. The Saints trying to get back in this game, get something going. Anti going to go through, going to land on a couple, but Crime going to end up falling to Doombu there. That Lucio Brock gonna take that early third tick. They're gonna get pushing on this payload nice and early. They're gonna have 5.5 minutes to get this thing all the way to the end mark. It's gonna be a lot harder. You're gonna see a couple of these choke points that are gonna be very difficult to push, but they're giving themselves the best chance to win getting it this early. Saints are gonna switch over to that Reinhardt. A little bit of a different idea, the Reinhardt though. Probably one of the standard picks on King's Row, the most common one, especially after that payload or the first objective goes down. See if the Saints can get something going here. Look at Emran on that Junkrat.
Yeah, it's got the tire as well available. Will they pop that sometime soon? You know, it's always interesting to see how the Junkrat ult gets used because you have 10 seconds, you have so long to be able to pop it through.
Some would say too long.
Oh yeah, I would even say too long at that. You can just sort of hide behind it, even if you die during it, you can still control it. But now, getting pushed back a little bit here by the side of Brock. Tire is still available. Look at where Emran is, just so deep behind enemy lines there, just trying to find as much damage as possible before potentially dropping that ultimate and getting a whole bunch. You never know. Sometimes they just want to do that for the play of the game at the same time. But Crime, as well on the Sojourn, you know, we talked to him earlier, said, you know what, very likely we're just going to keep playing the Sojourn because it's so fun. You know, you get so much damage out, and honestly, who doesn't like doing damage?
That's what I talked to the guys. Oh, Emran. Junkrat in the spawn. Forget the back line. He wants to play that front line, trapping up those doors as well. Just going to send those grenades and make life nightmare for Brock. Rip Tire is going to go in. He's waiting at that spawn door. The Tire is going to get tagged to half HP. Emran trying to spawn trap with this Rip Tire, trying to bait the side of Brock of walking out there. They are aware there is a Junkrat ulti out there. They are not going to move a muscle, and they were smart to do so. Arjunk going to get tagged up there by the Kiriko. I believe they're one shuriken going to end up in his head there, but not going to fall. Couple of trades going to go through Brock. Still, Brock has been stalled out very, very much so on this first little push. Like I said, every single time one of these payloads gets it, either like these archways or these choke points, very difficult. Shatter going to come through, not going to find a whole lot of value. Squeak, more of a distraction tool. Sigma going to pop that Graviton Flux as well. Brock trying to put everything they have into this fight. So far, it is paying off dividends, though. They're finding a ton of picks. They're going to find 3, and they're going to get some payload progress after that stall out.
Yeah, definitely doing a good job of sort of pushing it through the choke. I think a lot of that just came off of the use of that beat drop, I believe it was, coming through from the Lucio. Yeah. So just able to sort of push through, get any advantage that they can. But now, of course, next archway is sort of the big one there. Once you get into this factory area, so to speak, you know, it's a lot more difficult. You got to worry about the enviro concerns as well. But really good look coming through from Brock thus far. You know, moving so many members up to prevent even them getting out of their spawn. They sort of spawn trapping a little bit, but as we say that, Squeak able to find a couple, Emran able to collect with a third, and now the team kill going to come through, and that progress that they made, a lot of it's going to get reversed.
And I'll tell you why that hurts. The Death Blossom and I believe the Sojourn ult, or was that a different ult to me? The Hanzo Dragons both got popped, both found literally 0 value. The Brock, it was a really good investment. They looked like they maybe had the edge in that fight, but all of it kind of fell to the wayside. Squeak gonna have that Shatter back on sooner than later. They're gonna have the Overclock, the Rip Tire. Overclock is gonna go active. Now Prime gonna try to find these backline, picks this Reinhardt, shielding for dear life, trying to keep his teammates away from this Overclock. Kiriko gonna get tagged on that Suzu, gonna keep her alive for just an extra second there. Emran though, working on this backline. Crime with the railgun, gonna get it done. Emran finding the kill on the Rip Tire. Squeak trying to get the counter charge onto the Rhine. Gonna pick up 4 kills though. He's gonna get that Shatter online. They have the Nano boost as well. We could see a Nano Shatter Reinhardt W key special. Emran still just ratting it up on that top shelf. Squeak's getting ready to jump out and shatter all these guys.
No. It's so challenging because you can see that Brock, they're able to get some really cohesive pushes out of their spawn, but Squeak is behind enemy lines. They have not spotted him out. Squeak's looking.
This is gonna be massive.
Oh my goodness.
This is the most anticipation. Squeak. Oh, the Reinhardt's just gonna catch on last second. Squeak now has to try to find that timing. That was so nerve-wracking. Kitsune Rush gonna get popped for Brock there. They're gonna find the kill in the Sojourn. Shatter gonna come through and find that kill. The Saints trying to link together these kills. Nano boost gonna go through as well. The Saints are finding a whole lot of picks. Brock left in shambles. That's gonna be a team kill. Only a minute and a half for Brock to advance this point, and they're gonna have a bit of a ways to walk back from this spawn and a whole lot of Saints to walk through.
Yeah, and just what we saw there is they sort of got caught on the wrong side of the map for a little bit there. Squeak might have missed the timing just a little bit, but even still, on the back end of it, so challenging for Brock to get back onto that point. Emran, even in death, is able to find a couple more kills for themselves. You know, kamikaze Junkrat at that, just able to pick up a couple on the way out. And, you know, we saw some really nice progress off the rip from the side of Brock, but thus far, they're sort of just stuck. They need to wait for their team to push forward. And looking at the time left, you know, maybe they've got another push in them. If you can get it a really nice push, you're able to potentially extend your clock, but it's going to be really difficult at that because there are some ultimates coming up. The Rip Tire back up unavailable. The Crime ult almost ready as well, the Sojourn ult. Don't want to have that until, oh boy, here it comes.
Yeah, overclock gonna be online. Oh, double rip tire for Emeren. Crime gonna end up on the railgun with the backside. Red X switching over to that Zenyatta, finding the pick onto the Reinhardt. Hold W gonna fall. Brock not able to hold the line there. Couple ultimates gonna be on each side here. The Saints, though, they have all the advantage in the world right now. Squeak sending out those early fire strikes, trying to get that free ulti charge. Red X waiting in the wings on the Zenyatta, trying to find a pick. They're gonna stay behind the Reinhardt. Crime gonna keep that overclock popped. Not gonna land the right click. Gonna get solo shattered out there. He is going to fall to hold W. Brock trying to make any kind of play happen. The Reinhardt charge not going to quite be enough. Squeak going to go back, find the pin, and is able to find that kill. Beautiful play on that Reinhardt. Now Emeren chasing down the Sojourn. Squeak going to find another kill. Saints, all likelihood, have pushed Brock for the payload, or pushed Brock off the payload for the final time. Squeak gonna get a little bit of a panic shatter there. Brock fighting for their lives to keep this game going.
Doing anything that they can. Shadow doing so much work trying to keep the line there. You can even see the ball coming through to just try and stall out time because of how tanky it is, of course. Yep. So able to sit in that front line. And to Brock's credit, they're doing a good job of holding the line for the time being. Are they going to make any more progress? Potentially, but once all these spawns come through, going to be a little bit difficult still to be able to hold it down. Emeren able to land the trap, just tossing out a little...
oh, triple kill then, thanks.
Might as well, you know. Emeren did a great job on that Junkrat, and great first round coming through for this side of St. Clair. Able to hold him down to only one tick there, but of course, I'm going to be curious to see how St. Clair are able to answer back in their own right.
Listen, it confuses me too. Every time I win a round in ranked, I'm like, oh, I almost want to type GG. I'm like, oh, no, it's BMBM. The game's not over. Yeah, exactly. The Saints are going to have to make a push. Brock, they did such a good job getting on that first point. They took those 3 ticks within maybe a minute and a half of each other, and then pretty much they got the payload through that first archway. It slowly crept its way back toward that direction. They weren't able to really, get a good push going after that. A couple ultimates end up not going their way. The Saints ultimately being too strong for that. And they do such a good job on this map of playing the verticality. You send Junkrat up top onto the back line. You send Reinhardt running through the front door. You're able to displace so many of these heroes and just get them off kiltered. And Brock now going to have to play the defensive half of their lives to keep that progress. Saints not going to need that much to win this one out.
And already a couple of switch-ups. Emeren now, that's the May hover once again. Will it stick? Who knows?
This is...
Oh, what is this? This is one of the comps of all time.
Yeah, even after the Sombra nerf, Crime, I mean, she's still very, very good, don't get me wrong. We're going to see Pharmacy. Pharmacy actually going to get busted out for St. Clair. I talked about the verticality. They're definitely going to try to play that. Red X is going to go back onto the Kiriko, though. I think they're going to keep the Pharmacy based on the beginning of this map, how it's very, very open around that point. Would not be surprised to see the support maybe swap a couple times. Red X. Baptiste going to be so good for this point as well. Using that immortality field, you give your team on the ground such a good chance to fight, and you let Pharmacy go to work up top just like this, try to get everybody down off the ground. Red X going to pick up that first frag, and look at this Pharmacy just doing absolute work from the heavens.
Yeah, you can also see Squeak on the ball this time around, going to try and spin it to win at that, or roll around to win, I guess. Just getting into that backline already, being such an annoying pest for them. I just see Jovin's reacting. He's like, "Oh boy,
what's going on?" I played against enough
here?
Pharmacy to know it's like unless you have like Sojourn immediately one-tapping the Mercy, this is basically what happens.
Yes,
Reinhardt's running down, or in this case, the ball, which is great at displacing Emeren. This Pharmacy cannot be stopped right now. He is flying all over the map right now. So much damage over and over and over. Immortality field down. Picking up the kill is Red X there on the Baptiste. Oh, the Saints are getting it done every way to Sunday right now. Pharmacy, this is why this is annoying to play against. They are going to switch over to that Hog, though. Maybe try to hook Mercy out of the air. Crime, though, he said Genji nerf, no problem. Still going to swap over, and the Saints have completely dominated this. Ooh, Ultimate going to get shut down, though, so going to be a kill for that Hog. Crime, though, immediately there to trade that one out. And, hey, it was Mercy, by the way.
Yes. Get back up. Your job's not done here. Nonetheless, you can already see how far pushed they are. It's one person on the payload. Everyone else is just pushing into spawn at this point. It's extremely early, I want to say, to be pushing them this deep into spawn with Squeak already in that backline, getting so much value out from this ball thus far. Just push them all the way back into the spawn. This is bullying at this point, but getting stuck. Finally able to get shut down. Crime about to go sicko mode here with the Dragon. Radix dancing.
Listen, you got to make time to have some fun here and there. When you're alone on the payload, man, you're alone in your thoughts. Your teammates are all doing all the work on the front line. You got to find some way to stay entertained. The rest of the Saints are finding plenty of ways to stay entertained. Pharmacy still kicking. The whole Hog not going to find a whole lot of value there for Brock. They're trying anything and everything at this point, trying to get something to stick. Lucio trying to get up there and do some work. Kitsune Rush gonna come through, the Dragon Blade gonna come through as well. Brian picking up 2. That's gonna be 3 with the Blade. Gonna get shut down by the Lucio though. Emerin still trying to chunk away at this Roadhog. The Saints, they are very, very close to end up taking this game here. Squeak gonna find the kill with those landmines. Pharah ult once again getting shut down. Squeak's gonna find that trade pick though, and that's gonna be all she wrote.
That was quick.
That was quick.
Yeah,
that was Overwatch.
You know, Red X did their job. They captured the point. They sat on the payload, danced around for a little bit, and it was basically just a 4v5 in the base there. And of course, looking at, well, are we surprised? It's a Sojourn play of the game. Are we really surprised?
I could never.
Oh wow, how did this happen? Oh. That's how.
Yeah, if anyone's ever wondering if this character's balanced, no is a quick answer, and no would be the long answer. Sojourn, one of the strongest, definitely, I think she had 100% pick rate in Overwatch League, and so did Kiriko, I believe. So if that gives you any indicator on how good some of these heroes are, that's going to be it right there. So it was nice to see that variety, though. We saw a whack load of different heroes that game. We saw the Brig Hover, we saw, I think, a Tracer get pulled out. We saw the Sombra for a few seconds. So it's nice to see at least the Saints trying some other things. They're so confident on King's Row, though. It's something that was kind of to be expected, and Brock just felt like they had a great first half, but that second half, they really just couldn't defend the Saints.
They had us in the first half, not gonna lie, if we want to put it that way, but nonetheless, yeah, very difficult to sort of push through, and I think sort of falling for the bait in a lot of ways. As we mentioned, you know, King's Row, definitely a map that a lot of these teams are going to be confident on. You know, it's been in the game forever.
It's 8 years old.
It's ages old at this point. You've probably, you know, you scrim on it so often, especially if you're going through those blocks and everything, so not really a surprise that, you know, this would be a team that wants to try and go back to comfort, but unfortunately, for them to be comfortable, it also gives Saints a lot of comfort in their own right. But once again, curious to see what that third map is going to be. Once again, Brock have that agency to pick that map. What will they pull out? That is yet to be determined.
Yeah, and will be determined after a very, very short break. Saints sitting on game point right now, up 2-0 over Brock.
Take your kicks to Route 66 as we get onto map 3 here at St. Clair versus Brock. And thus far, the Saints really been controlling this series from the get-go. And of course, with this payload map, it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle, quite literally, for the side of Brock at that. Not only in this series, but also on this map. Very curious to see how they play this one out. But it's been a little bit of an expected result, but Brock has definitely shown flashes of brilliance there as well.
Yeah, they had a couple times. I mean, they kind of steamrolled that first part of King's Row on the attacking side. I was pleasantly surprised. And then the one time on the other map right before that, on like the inner sanctum point, they were able to get a little bit of progress, just not able to really stack those team fights back to back to back, get those spawn staggers they're looking for. We're going to see a lot of, you've seen a lot of these heroes on Route 66. Torbjorn, going to be very, very good. Setting up that turret, you're basically running uphill into a turret, probably going to set up somewhere behind this rock, hide on that back line. They're going to run that on, run the Roadhog. Lots of good hook potential, trying to hook people off the map as well. You're going to see Brock over on, we call this the Overwatch League special, except swap Baptiste for Kiriko, and you've got it right there exactly. The hyper meta. Ana's going to be a very, very Ana always very, very solid choice as well. Can't really go wrong putting people to sleep, getting those nano boosts, and especially having that anti-heal as well. Anti-heal's such a big part of this game, especially considering you don't have that second tank to burn through. You can get a whole lot of value out of just one of those. The Saints, so already trying to get going in this spawn. Emran picking off that Reaper to kick things off in the Saints. You can tell exactly where they left off. They are going to try to force a spawn trap here, which honestly makes the most sense. This is a tough map to get out of the spawn on.
Yeah, and you can already see Hold W going to switch over to that Roadhog already, just trying to get some of these kills. And realistically, in these, you just got to try and find your one. You got to try and find your two at that, to try and get some sort of push forward. But look at where Redx is posted up on Zenyatta, just going DPS support at that. Hold W, though, going to be able to find a kill on to Squeak there. A Roadhog v Roadhog madness there. Now Crime dealing with a little bit of a hog problem in his face there. Will be able to kite it back. But once again, Emran on this Junkrat, you got to think that they might like this hero a little bit. They've played it all 3 maps thus far.
Yeah, Emran, he's had a lot of good flexibility. I saw him on like the Symmetra. He's played so many different heroes throughout the semester. Whether they realized they were in a good spot or not, the Soldier going to pick up a nice little double kill there. Going to give Brock exactly the space they were looking for. Now, if you're Brock, you have to go take double the space that you were just given. I believe the whole hard one of the ultis. No, not going to get popped just quite yet. We're going to have a lot for this next fight, but this Soldier still trying to do work in this backline. Hog going to land that hook though. Be very low damage for St. Clair. That Suzu, that cleanse going to come through just in time. Squeak going to be able to find the kill over onto the Soldier, and the Saints doing a great job of fighting back now. Arjunk going to pick up that kill as well. Edge indeed. Zenyatta trying to pick up that kill. The support's doing a lot of frontline work for the Saints right now.
You can just see Redx so confident in this front line, doing everything for the team at that. Supporting, doing damage, doing whatever you need, and Emran sort of behind enemy lines already. Just able to find so much damage, and once again, that push gets stopped, and it's so difficult to contest with that every single time. You gotta try and push out of that spawn. Every time you get a couple of picks, if you're Brock, you need to get that payload to the next tick just so that you can move forward your spawn, get a little bit more action, because it's so difficult moving through here. Here comes the Tire once again, doing a little bit of ATV. Oh, no, never mind.
Mouse on 8,000 DPI, trying to find some kind of play there. Tire not going to land the mark, but nonetheless, the Saints, they're still happy with their positioning. That whole hog going to get popped for Brock University. They are going to find the kill onto Squeak. Little hog on hog crime there. A little wanted poster up there as well. Arjunk trying to get some healing in this backline. Redx down to very low HP, and Brock, they're going to have to try to take advantage of this push if they're able to. Redx, though, going to pop that Transcendence, going to make it very difficult to get that push they want. He's going to go try to shove that backline. The Torbjorn ult going to come through as well. Going to be face-checking Lucio here. Crime is going to win that one out, though, with authority. Hog trying to find the hook onto Crime, but the Saints, even when they drop a couple bodies there, they're able to regain and somehow get the advantage back over Brock here.
Yeah, and Squeak's got the minigun, the Odin, available if he really desires at this point. Just sort of waiting for the rest of the team to set up, try and use that against the payload, if anything, at that, but for the time being, just sort of finding positioning. The payload's moving forward a little bit at this point, but really just trying to bide their time at that. You can see sort of Crime hiding behind the corner. They're actually going to switch over to the Genji as well, see what they opt to do with that one, but Emran here on this Widowmaker, I believe, get shut down just as soon as they get spawned in. Yeah, that's a lot of kills going the way of Brock.
Yeah, the DPS are doing a boatload of work right now. The Soldier and finding those kills with the overclock. Soldier picking up a couple of kills as well. Did pop that tactical visor not too long ago. Hold W, gonna find that hook kill onto Crime as well. The Saints gonna get that spawn reset. Brock gonna get themselves some time bonus at least. They're gonna put themselves in a decent enough spot to try to get this second tier push. Try to get another time bonus. Keep this game extended as long as possible. And this is where the game gets a little bit easier for Brock. That first step can be very, very difficult to push, and the Saints did a great job pushing back, but now a whole new area to fight over.
Yeah, it's all about how much time you stall out as well, and realistically, with this point being easier to take, do you have enough time to keep that push going? You don't have as much room to work with. You don't have as many mistakes that you can make there. Crime, though, on this Genji, gonna get shut down in that frontline. Squeak, though, gonna be able to reply in their own. Here it comes, the Odin coming through, just shredding through everyone here. Gonna be able to find, 3 kills of their own there. Great play coming through from Squeak, and that's gonna halt that push right away. Buy themselves another 30 seconds.
Yeah, and that only took 2 ultimates as well. They don't have to use the Widow ult. They keep the Kitsune Rush and the Dragon Blade in that back pocket. Just a nano and a hog and a dream, and they find all they were looking for. Brock now gonna have to try to reset here, group up, and find some way to get this push going. They're gonna get some ultimates sooner than later. They're gonna have that whole hog. They're gonna get the tactical visor and that nano boost. They should be able to make some sort of play. Redx on this backline with the Kiriko, trying to be a nuisance with these Shuriken. Is gonna pop the cleanse there, trying to find a kill. Squeak is gonna find the kill onto the Soldier. Killing that DPS gonna be crucial for St. Clair.
Yeah, again, he's got the Dragon Blade as well, but just needs to stay alive at that for the time being. He's able to actually get a little bit of a kill shot down there as well, but Emran in this front line just doing so much damage on the Widow for the time being. That's not how you play
Widow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to sit at the back.
Wait, she has a submachine gun?
Apparently she just has her gun got better. So nonetheless, you can just see sort of playing it out, sort of like the Sojourn, except not Sojourn, but here comes the Dragon Blade into the middle of everyone, blocking him so much, able to find one thus far. Getting zoned out a little bit with 1 HP for a little bit, will end up getting shut down by the Odin on the opposite side there. And Emran now, that's the wrong side of the map, buddy.
Yeah, just trying to buy some time. They're trying to grapple hook away with that Widow. That was a great use of the whole hog by whole W there. Was able to shut down that Dragon Blade before he could get going with that 3-4 kills. I thought maybe they were going to wait for the good old-fashioned Nano Blade, but nonetheless, they tried to send that one and get it, Brock. They're going to find a couple kills, but the Saints, look at this timer. They have stalled out almost 2.5 minutes before Brock has got this push going again. Shadow does have that overclock ready and waiting for someone to walk by. They have the Nano Boost. They have the Tactical Visor as well. They have a ton of firepower for this next fight.
Yeah, Emran just holding down the fort as well for the time being. They're getting a little bit of a push down. Nonetheless, oh my goodness, the Soldier all gonna come through, find a couple more kills there. And Brock, every single time they're put down to the wire here, but they're still able to push back, put up some resistance. I think that's a Blizz Loki there, able to Blizz Look Eye?
Sure,
Blizz,
yes.
Blizz Loki, we'll go with that. You know, able to sort of make the Soldier work out in their own right, you know. Pretty straightforward character to play. You get auto aim after a while as well.
I was going to say, the ulti is...
it's pretty helpful.
Yeah, the DPS has definitely been the carry so far for Brock. Anti-heal going to land on Squeak there. They're going to find a kill with that mine onto Crime, though. Brock doing a really good job trying to find the second time bonus. Emran getting a little bit aggressive on that Widowmaker. Going to end up paying for his trouble, though. Arjunk getting tagged down. The whole hog going to get popped here. The anti-heal beautifully timed, though, by Brock. Able to take out Squeak mid-ulti there. Cleanse going to go through trying to keep Crime alive once again. Brock, though, doing a great job. They are going to get that time bonus. They still have a minute and a half. I'll say they still have a minute and a half. They only have a minute and a half now to get this one all the way. Granted, they are going to get the chance to play some defense on the Saints, but you want to get that payload as far as possible, put yourself in a good spot. Maybe if I would swap off the Widow if I'm Emirates.
Yeah, I think the main thing at that is just being able to afford yourself as much time as possible. You want to have that little bit of a time window for yourself on the flip side here. You know, if you're able to hold them at these 2 points, you want to just be able to. You won't have the time available to you. But yeah, Junker Queen actually going to come through as well in the switch up just Squeak. Often to go away from the Roadhog for a little bit. Fun new character. We haven't gotten a lot to see it a lot just because we got nerfed after I got the view of it, Curly, but also just dropped down a lot of damage in their own right. Great play from Brock, though. They're still pushing this payload. Somehow, some way, they're finding ways to resist against this Saints team. And Amaran still on this Widowmaker, still trying to make Budget Sojourn work.
Yeah, the Saints are definitely trying a pretty diverse hero pool, to put it lightly. Whole hog gonna come through Emran, gonna grapple away to safety, but Emran gonna end up finding either way. Crime still trying to get this chip damage from as far as possible. Brock, though, they are encroaching very, very close to the end of this payload. So if the Saints were gonna stop changing heroes, might be a good time to try to really dig those heals in and find some sort of defense that they like. The Cleanse gonna come through at the perfect time to stop that hook. Red X gonna be tagged down pretty low, gonna TP out to safety. Brock getting very close. Crime does have that ulti online. He's gonna pop that one, try to get all this payload cleared out, try to find massive damage. He's gonna end up splitting the Red Sea kind of with that one, but the Saints, they are gonna find a couple picks. Brock, though, still trying to fight this one out.
Yeah, they're so close to getting to that third point as well, but finally it feels as if the Saints able to get enough of a concerted effort against the enemy side here. Able to get that touchdown, and yeah, that's gonna be all she wrote for round one here. Very good progress made by the side of Brock, I want to point out. That's almost to that third point, but, you know, almost isn't quite good enough, you know. Yeah. Those only matters in horseshoes and hand grenades. Yeah, the Saints definitely going to have a little bit of a challenge to get to that end point, but I mean, to be fair, though, I can't tell you how many games finished where that payload, where Brock got it, it sits there right at the end. There's so many games, especially on a variety of maps, where that payload gets to that last 25, 30 feet, and you're just not able to break through that spawn, because that defending team, they have such short spawn windows. They can basically run out of spawn. They are immediately touching that payload, so it becomes very, very difficult in this last little stretch. The Saints, though, if they're able to get off to a very, very hot start, get those first 2 time bonuses, I suspect they'll be able to get it to a similar spot, but they are going to have their work cut out for them. They do still have to actually get that push. And looking at the options for the heroes here early, you can see Crime just going to go back to Sojourn. You know what? Says, you know what? I'm done playing with, you know, Emran on the Widowmaker. Nah, I'm going to show him what the real Widowmaker is. The widows we made along the way? I don't know. Something along those lines. Opting for the Junker. That was bad, Adam. Yeah, everyone in the room is giving Adam side-eye right now. We're going to have to mute his mic after that. Cut him off completely. Hanzo coming through, though, for Emran. So going to go for a little bit of a switch-up still. I mean, they still want to just keep that diversity up. You know, get as many heroes on them screen as possible, I want to say. And on the flip side, you can see OW really liked that Roadhog, I want to say. And they did quite well on that. A couple of really nice whole hogs, able to win that Roadhog battle a lot of the times here. But once again, it's going to be this first, 30 seconds that's really going to define this, because if the Saints are able to push through this point really quickly, they're going to be in good shape. And as you can see, look at where Crime is set up, just so aggressive jumping forward.
That's how you got to do it. Keep that Kiriko on the back line, keep those Suzus coming, keep that Sojourn cleansed up, let her get that railgun charge up, and do just that. Sojourn Crime gonna pick up the kill on Shadow there. Emran gonna find the kill as well. Both DPS of Brock now gonna be down and out of this fight, and those two have kind of been the linchpins. We've seen great play from the Roadhog. The supports have done well as well, but those Brock DPS have definitely been the carry of this series so far for them, finding lots of picks. Look at Red X on this back line. Now Crime really starting to get that shove, and you can tell the Saints, they're taking the space.
Crime is just solo pushing basically at this point, just with all the support from, miles away at this point, and Crime just doing all of the damage themselves at this point, just pushing back wholeheartedly the side of Brock. And you can already see around that first bend, that's really the hard point to push through here on this payload section, and they're able to get that finally in a little bit of a better spot. And now Crime just trying to stay alive at this point, trying to stay as healthy as possible. Emran on this Hanzo just in that front line as well, taking a little bit too much damage on the way out, but nonetheless, as long as you've got that Sojourn all up and almost with that ultimate available as well, you're going to be in good shape. Immediately as we say that, we cast the curse and Crime goes down.
Yeah, Squeak trying to land those anti-heal shots, trying to take out both supports here, is going to get ganged up on though. He'll W, going to be the one to find that kill. The Queen has fallen. Brock going to stop the Saints push where it stands there. The Saints have a lot of time to still try to get this first time bonus. They're still in pretty good shape. They're on a little better pace than Brock was so far. Recon Dart going to go out there for Emran, trying to get some info gathering going for the Saints so they can start to flood here. Dragons are going to be online. I would suspect rather, once the Saints get a little more space up here onto this gas station, they're going to let those Dragons rip, and they're going to try to find some picks.
Yeah, there it comes across the team. It's not going to find anyone in terms of the kills, but Crime with that overclock as well, just able to find so much damage. Emran's actually able to pick one up onto Doom Boom Doom on the back end of it, and while the ultimate expires, damage has been done. Lucio's taken out of the fight for the time being. Going to be able to push forward with that extra little bit of confidence there. Squeak, though, taking a lot of damage from the whole hog there. Here comes the Kasune rush the opposite way, though, and oh my goodness, that's going to be just enough to push the Saints across the line here, and now just affording themselves so much more space here to push towards the second point.
Yeah, and that ult from Emran was great. Even though it didn't get the kills, it completely split Brock's team in half. 2 on the left, 3 on the right. The Saints, that's exactly what they were looking for. Then you send Crime to the left, line up those shots and knock them down. You send the other boys over to that right side. Emran going to pick up a kill on Shadow, taking out the Sojourn early in the fight. Both DPS now going to fall. The Saints are going to get a decent amount of free progress here. Brock gonna have to try to recall, stack up these spawns. They do have the Nano Visor available if they so choose. Overclock in the wings, and that beat drop should be online as well. So they're gonna have a decent amount of kit and utility, but ultimately they're gonna have to find some picks.
Yeah, you got to try and find some picks against this team, especially now that you're at the easier part of Route 66. We talked about that first point being really difficult to crack through, and thus far, not too much resistance coming through on the second point. At least half the progress already made here. Squeak, oh my goodness, going into that backline aggressively. Might have been a little bit too deep here. The anti-heal coming through, and Squeak fighting for their life, but still doing a great job solo tanking in that front line. Junker not the tankiest of tanks, but still doing quite a lot of work here.
Yeah, the Nano Boost going to go through onto that Queen, though. The Queen is trying to go ruin here. She's going to find a couple of kills. Squeak doing such a good job frontlining with the Queen, anti-healing 3 or 4 members there, at least making them reset, try to take different fights. The Saints took full advantage of that. Red X still trying to find this kill onto the Lucio. The Saints, though, they're going to send a couple to force that spawn. Lucio is just merely trying to stall out here, get those spawns back up in time until some Brock members can come help out. He's still trying to run for his life. Sojourn with the eye on, no Crime, trying to find those kills. The Saints looking pretty so far through this round.
Yeah, and Winston's actually picked up here by Hold W, just trying to be that super tank in that front line, the hyper meta tank that we were talking about. Oh my goodness, Emran does not miss on this Hanzo right now. Looking all these arrows tossed down. That's going to be the second point picked up here, and look how much time they've afforded themselves here. They've got just around 4 minutes to sort of end this one off here, and last time around, Brock had a minute and a half. They had literally the minimum amount of time to continue this push forward, and by the looks of it, Saints definitely looking a lot more comfortable with this, and Emran just landed down the shots even into spawn. Dragons are available once again. Let's see if they drop them.
Yeah, Sojourn Disrupt probably going to stop that play, at least for the second here. Squeak trying to find that anti-heal. Going to have to use the shout to get out of there in time. Is going to get some healing. Emran is going to send out the Dragons. Going to find a kill. Red X going to pick one up onto the Torb there. Brock starting to slowly fall apart.
Oh my
Prime
goodness.
gonna find that railgun kill onto Doomu. Red X gonna take with that Torb turret as well. They are shredding this Brock defense. Shadow had to run for the hill, sitting at 1 HP, gonna have to get back into that spawn room for some regen. The Saints, though, they're gonna take a whole lot of space here. They're gonna start to really shove in these spawns, and they're gonna try to get this game ended sooner than later.
Yeah, and especially when you've got 3 ults available. Well, 2 now as the Kitsune Rush gets popped into that front line. They're going so aggressively here. Squeak on his Junker, going to be dashing into that back line. Not going to get quite as much value this time around from the Junker ult, but nonetheless, you can see all of these ultimates getting popped all at the same time. Crime going to be able to find a little bit of damage there. Actually, I don't even think they picked up a kill per se, but nonetheless, you can just see the damage that they're doing, really making it so difficult for the side of Brock to hold the line. Granted, Crime will go down, and it's so close to that end once again. This is a spot where it sort of gets stuck a lot of the times, as you were mentioning, but will they be able to push across the line? A lot of these respawns going to come through. This next push going to be really important for them.
These close defender spawns is pretty much the only reason this payload is so hard to push. Some of these maps, the defender spawn, as I said, it's literally walk out of the spawn room and you're immediately touching onto that payload. Beat drop coming through for Brock. Squeak trying to back up, or they're trying to solo this Winston Primal. They're trying to get the anti-heal on him. He's backing up into the Saints backline, trying to stall some time out. Squeak, though, is going to pick up that kill. Shadow, luckily taking out Emerin for Brock. This Queen still marching forward with all of her loyal servants behind her, though. The Saints trying to get some push together. Throwing knife gonna land. Beautiful job trying to catch out that Sojourn. Not gonna quite find the kill. Torb ult gonna come through. Squeak trying to maneuver his way on this backline. The Saints, they're so close to getting this last push. It's just so tricky, and Brock, to their credit, they have dug in their heels and they have not moved an inch.
Yeah, good ult from the Torb in there just to use that lava drop down. Prevent them from pushing forward any further there. Argent, though, be providing so much healing. Kitsune Rush is available once again. Actually going to get popped by Red X there. Are they going to be able to take advantage of this push? Great play into the backline from Squeak once again as they're trying their mightiest to just push across the line, and the members of Brock are falling by the wayside. Only one left. It's just going to be the Kiriko, and after that, great push coming through from the Saints. They're going to wrap up this map.
Yeah, just like that, they're going to take out, it's going to end up being a 3-0 for the Saints there. They played a great series. We saw so much hero variety. It makes my heart warm, makes me smile inside. It was so nice to see so many different heroes. We're going to see Squeak end up getting this play of the game. Not going to be a Sojourn highlight montage for once in our lives. Squeak, though, beautiful job finding that hook kill, popping the whole hog as well, I believe, momentarily here. Yeah, we knew this was going to be play of the game. We called it when it happened. Pretty much guaranteed going to help pick up 4 kills with Red X's assistance there. Saints playing a beautiful series overall. The 1 seed holding true to their name. And just, as I said, great series from everybody. And they have one more series to come up later, though.
Yep, going up against Simon Fraser University, who got that bye into the upper bracket there. Curious to see what ends up happening. Of course, Brock will be awaiting the loser of that matchup to see who qualifies from there. And realistically, Brock, they did put up quite a strong effort, and I think
especially the last map, that was
that was pixels away from potentially going to overtime and potentially further as well. And realistically, for us, we get the pleasure of being able to see both of these teams in action to sort of make some educated decisions about how the potential matchup could fare down the road. But of course, great series.
Listen,
it was fun.
More good esports content.
Exactly.
If you're a Saints fan, that's really, really fun. Brock, though, as we said, they showed a lot of that last map, especially. That thing was on a knife's edge. I really thought Brock was going to get that last push, and they did. It's just so hard to, even though you have that short spawn, it is so hard to defend that site for 4 minutes. You have to just wave after wave of ulti, dealing with Kiriko and Sojourn. It can be an absolute pain in the neck, but they had a great series there. They are going to move to that losers bracket, or like the losers round to play. End up playing the lower bracket. The Saints, they're going to help themselves move on, get that 1-0 record. That being said, though, between our games, we are going to have a nice little break between, let the players get reset in the lobby. Hopefully it won't be too long,